People often say, beauty comes with pain. But in the cinematic capital of Hollywood, the price to pay is sometimes even higher than blood and tears. It is the disappearance of one's true self. From supermodels who once defined the beauty of the century to heartthrobs who captivated millions, many turned to surgery as a desperate last resort to hold onto their youth. But instead of the miracle they hoped for, they received horrifying distortions, faces as stiff as wax statues, and the ultimate loneliness behind the spotlight. The pursuit of perfection, once a dream, has turned into a nightmare, leaving them to grapple with the cost of their choices in a world that values appearance above all else. Between the desire for perfection and irreversible destruction, where lies the fragile line? Are those faces, often called disasters, the result of vanity? Or are they the tragedy of victims in an industry that is unforgiving to age? Today, we won't judge, but instead we'll explore 8 shocking stories of legends who fell victim to the dream of cosmetic surgery. Before we dive into these dark corners, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below to share your thoughts, helping us stay motivated to create better videos. In the dazzling 1990s, Linda Evangelista was not just a runway model. She was the supreme force that dominated the world of fashion. With a sharp bone structure sculpted by the gods and mesmerizing cat-like eyes, she became the eternal muse of the most talented designers from Paris to Milan. Her bold remark about not getting out of bed for less than $10,000 cemented her status as a symbol of power and pride, embodying the essence of flawless beauty that millions of young girls at the time yearned to attain. Linda was the epitome of confidence, allure, and success, a true icon whose presence in the fashion world was both commanding and undeniable. However, the tragedy of Linda Evangelista's life struck brutally when she tried to hold on to her youth with the cool sculpting fat freezing method, which was widely advertised as safe. Instead of achieving the slim figure she had hoped for, her body reacted violently, causing a rare and paradoxical fat cell overgrowth, medically known as paradoxical adipose hyperplasia. The once celebrated areas of her body began to distort, stiffen, and swell uncontrollably, transforming the iconic Chanel muse into a stranger in her own reflection, deformed, unrecognizable, and completely shattered. The procedure that promised perfection instead left her battling physical and emotional pain, shattering her confidence and forever altering her image. What was once a symbol of beauty had now become a tragic reminder of the risks hidden behind the allure of cosmetic enhancement. For the next 5 long years, Linda Evangelista chose to bury her life in the darkness of seclusion, desperately avoiding the prying eyes of the outside world. She was forced to hide behind oversized clothes, tightly wrapped scarves, and large dark sunglasses, overwhelmed by the fear of being exposed for the damage done to her body. Her suffering went far beyond the loss of her physical beauty. It was the shattering of her identity and self-esteem as an icon who had once stood at the pinnacle of global fame. The woman who had once been the epitome of perfection and grace now faced the heartbreaking reality of living in the shadows, struggling with the loss of the self-image that had defined her entire career. It wasn't until 2021 that Linda Evangelista gathered enough courage to step into the light, setting aside her pride to share the heartbreaking story that had tormented her soul for years. Her raw confession was not a plea for pity, but a powerful act of reclaiming her voice and freeing herself from the prison of shame and self-doubt. By revealing her truth, Linda showed the world that a person's true value is never found in their external appearance, no matter how dazzling or glorious that outer shell once was. Her vulnerability became an act of strength, reminding others that beauty is not defined by perfection, and that true worth lies within, beyond what is seen on the surface. There is no beauty treatment or cosmetic intervention that is absolutely safe. Risks lurk even in the most modern procedures. The greatest courage of a woman is not found in the frantic effort to preserve eternal beauty, but in the strength to face, accept, and love oneself fully, even when we are no longer perfect in the eyes of the world. True beauty lies in embracing our flaws, understanding that imperfections are part of what makes us human, and learning to value ourselves for who we truly are, beyond the surface. Melanie Griffith was once the perfect embodiment of innocent beauty, mixed with a touch of allure, with her warm smile lighting up Hollywood screens throughout the 1980s. But as the glow of youth slowly faded and the first wrinkles appeared, the fear of being discarded by the entertainment industry pushed her into an uneven psychological battle. The pressure to maintain the image of the sweet girl next door became an overwhelming burden, one that led her to seek out cosmetic surgery as her last lifeline. Faced with an industry that places youth and beauty at the top of its priorities, Melanie found herself caught between the desire to preserve her image and the harsh realities of aging, a struggle that would have lasting consequences for her sense of self. She began this risky journey with small adjustments, naively believing that it was the only way to protect her career and hold on to the most glorious years of her youth. However, as the relentless flow of time continued, the constant Botox injections and fillers gradually stripped away the natural essence that had once been the soul of her face. Fans began to be shocked as they noticed the change. The delicate, emotionally rich expressions that had once defined her were now replaced by a stiff, swollen, and unfamiliar mask. The vibrant, warm presence that had made her a beloved figure in Hollywood seemed to fade, leaving behind a reflection that no longer felt like her own. It became a painful reminder of the cost of chasing an image that could never truly capture who she was. Melanie later bitterly admitted that she didn't realize how far she had gone until the cruel whispers of public opinion hit her like a cold splash of water. She had been living in an illusionary bubble where the line between beauty enhancement and distortion had become blurred by an invisible obsession with perfection. The relentless pressure to maintain an idealized image had taken a toll on her sense of self. It was the deep wounds caused by harsh criticisms and the shock of seeing herself through the eyes of the world that became the powerful driving force behind her awakening. This realization led her to make the life-changing decision to reclaim her true self, accepting her natural beauty and learning to embrace the flaws that made her who she was. Instead of sinking deeper into the pit of cosmetic surgery, Melanie bravely sought out a doctor to dissolve the fillers, accepting the pain as a necessary step to let her face age naturally. She didn't hesitate to openly talk about the mistakes of her past, not to justify them, but as a sincere apology to herself for not valuing her original beauty. This act marked a significant turning point, shifting from denial to a compassionate acceptance of who she truly was. By embracing her natural aging process, Melanie took back control of her narrative, choosing self-compassion over the external pressures to conform to an unattainable ideal. It was a powerful and courageous moment, one that allowed her to rediscover the authenticity she had once lost. Today, Melanie Griffith still appears before the public with the marks of time clearly etched around her eyes, but it is a beauty born from experience and wisdom. She has truly learned to let go of the maddening obsession with eternal youth, finding a precious peace within her soul after years of turbulence. Her honesty and courageous acceptance of her flaws have completely transformed public perception, turning the mocking words of the past into profound respect in the present. Melanie now embodies a kind of grace that comes from embracing imperfection, and her journey of self-acceptance has become a powerful testament to the beauty of living authentically. Melanie is now a living testament that true beauty shines only when a woman learns to embrace her own wrinkles. Cosmetic surgery can easily become an invisible and dangerous addiction when we try to escape the natural progression of time. The desire to preserve youth at any cost can distort not just our appearances, but our sense of self. Knowing when to stop and learning to accept the harsh laws of aging is the only path to preserving the dignity, character, and timeless grace of a true woman. Melanie's journey serves as a powerful reminder that real beauty comes from within and is shaped by experience, not perfection. Cosmetic surgery, if not approached with caution, can easily turn into an invisible addiction as we try to escape time. Perhaps knowing when to stop and embracing the aging process with a smile is the only way for a woman to maintain her dignity and eternal grace. Do you believe that true beauty lies in confidence, regardless of age? Leave number 1 if you agree. Leave number 0 if you have a different view. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to spread these positive values. Keep watching the video for more inspiring stories. After the tragic death of Gianni, Donatella Versace was thrust into the overwhelming responsibility of taking over the family's massive fashion empire. The immense pressure from such a monumental loss led her to completely transform her appearance. Tanned, plump skin, full lips, and sleek platinum hair became her signature look. But this transformation wasn't just physical, it was a protective shield for her wounded soul. Every detail of her appearance carried a deeper meaning, a way for her to face the world with strength. The visible exterior, though striking, concealed the weaknesses and fears beneath, allowing her to navigate the challenges ahead with resilience, even as she struggled with the grief and responsibility that had been thrust upon her. The public and the media often cruelly mock Donatella Versace as a living wax statue or label her a cosmetic surgery disaster, but she has never been bothered or humbled enough to explain herself. Instead, Donatella wisely transformed her artificial and distinctive appearance into an inseparable part of the Versace identity, bold, radiant, luxurious, and completely fearless. For her, natural beauty was never the ultimate goal. What mattered was standing out, having personality, and possessing the ability to captivate every gaze. These are the true guiding principles that have helped her keep the Versace brand alive and thriving in the unforgiving world of fashion. Her image became her armor, one that allowed her to conquer adversity and maintain the legacy of her brother's iconic brand, while asserting her own vision with unmatched confidence. Donatella's transformation seemed like a bold declaration, a defiant rebellion against the cruel laws of nature and time. She steadfastly refused to age in the normal way of a human being, opting for the distortion of surgery in exchange for a timeless, immutable image of power before the public. Beneath the thick layers of makeup and artificial features lay a resilient woman, a warrior who fought relentlessly every day, every hour, to preserve the throne and legacy of her family amidst the scrutiny and skepticism of the world. Her transformation was not just about vanity, it was about survival, maintaining control over her own narrative and securing the future of the Versace brand, no matter the cost. Her image became a fortress, a symbol of strength and resilience in a world that demanded perfection. Despite her appearance always sparking mixed controversy, No one can deny that Donatella Versace has brilliantly transformed what many perceive as aesthetic flaws into a unique strength and authority. She has taught the fashion world a powerful lesson. Style isn't just about the clothes you wear, but the attitude you carry, standing tall and holding your head high in the face of public criticism. Donatella would rather embrace being a one-of-a-kind, shocking, and artificial sculpture than resign herself to the fate of becoming a dull, ordinary figure who fades into obscurity in the fast-paced flow of history. Her boldness, confidence, and willingness to defy conventional beauty standards have cemented her as an icon, someone who has used her individuality as a weapon to carve out her own powerful place in the fashion industry. Sometimes, a strange or exaggerated appearance is the most painful defense mechanism a person creates in response to the immense pressures of life. We should not be quick to judge anyone's outward appearance, for deep within that rough and jagged mask may lie a soul struggling to bear the wounds of life, shouldering the weight of the world on its shoulders. The outer shell, shaped by circumstances or choices, can often conceal a vulnerability or a story of survival that we may never fully understand. It's a reminder that beneath the surface, there is always more than meets the eye, and compassion should guide our perceptions of others. Kenny Rogers was once the embodiment of rugged, mature beauty, with his silver beard and characteristic squinted eyes that seemed to hold 1,000 untold stories. His warmth, simplicity, and naturally gentle smile formed the irreplaceable soul of his timeless country music, capturing hearts across generations. However, when he married a much younger wife, his hidden fear of the age gap and the relentless pressure of time began to unsettle him. The insecurities that had long been tucked away in his heart began to surface, and the man who once exuded confidence and wisdom started grappling with the fear of aging, seeking ways to preserve the image he had carefully crafted. In a moment of weakness, trying desperately to hold on to his youth, Kenny Rogers made the fateful decision to undergo eyelid surgery, unknowingly losing the very essence of his brand. The surgery stretched his face too tightly, causing his once tender, slightly slanted eyes to become wide open, confused, and completely devoid of the expressive charm they once held. The change was jarring, and the audience was shocked and heartbroken to see the legendary The Gambler return to the stage with an unfamiliar, stiff appearance, almost as if he were someone else entirely. The warmth and depth that had made his eyes so iconic were gone, leaving behind a reflection that felt disconnected from the man who had captivated audiences for decades. It was a tragic reminder of how the desire to preserve one's image can sometimes lead to the loss of the very qualities that made them beloved in the first place. He inadvertently erased the wrinkles of experience, cutting off the very image that had helped him win the hearts of millions of fans for decades. The lines and expressions that once spoke of a life well lived were gone, replaced by a rigid new look that felt disconnected from the man he had been. Later on, Kenny often cleverly used humor and jokes to lighten the mood when talking about his new eyes, but deep within that smile was an unshakable regret. He courageously admitted to the public that the results of the surgery were not what he had hoped for, and he truly missed his old, familiar face, the face that had been a part of his music and persona for so long. In his vulnerability, Kenny showed the world that even icons, despite their fame and success, are not immune to the pressures of aging and the desire to hold on to their past. This sudden change in appearance created an invisible gap, a painful disconnect between the stiff exterior and the emotional depth in the ballads Kenny Rogers performed. The warmth and vulnerability that had once shone through his expressive eyes now seemed lost, and the audience could feel the difference. However, rising above the gossip and judgment, Kenny bravely stood on stage, dedicating himself fully to his music until the very end of his life. He used his talent and distinctive gravelly voice to prove that while a face may be altered by surgery, the soul of the artist remains eternal. His music, raw and heartfelt as ever, carried the weight of years and experience, reminding us that true artistry transcends physical appearance and is anchored in the emotion, wisdom, and stories an artist imparts through their work. His story will forever be a poignant reminder of the high price men pay when they try to chase the illusion of eternal youth. Men, too, bear the heavy pressures of appearance and age, no less than women in this glamorous world. The pressure to remain youthful and relevant can weigh just as heavily on them, despite the focus often being on women in the spotlight. However, we must understand that losing the natural features of one's face also means severing the most genuine emotional connection with both the audience and those who love them. The authenticity and vulnerability that come with aging, the very traits that create a lasting bond with fans, can be lost in the pursuit of an idealized image. Kenny's journey highlights the importance of embracing one's true self, scars, wrinkles, and all, as it is through those imperfections that an artist's soul truly resonates with the world. The loss of his facial features is a testament to the high price men pay when chasing the illusion of youth. It's time we acknowledge the pressure to look good spares no one. However, exchanging natural expression for a flawless face is the biggest mistake an artist can make. What's your opinion? Comment number 1 if you agree, number 0 if you don't. Enjoy the video, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support us. As one of the brightest stars of 1980s American television, with iconic shows like Knots Landing and Dallas, Joan Van Ark was once the perfect symbol of elegant, regal, and deeply emotional beauty. Her performances captivated audiences, and her striking appearance became synonymous with grace and strength. However, the cold cruelty of Hollywood towards actresses as they approach the other side of life pushed her down a path of endless reliance on cosmetic surgery. Faced with the industry's unforgiving standards of youth and beauty, Joan began seeking surgical solutions to maintain her youthful image, ultimately leading her to a transformation that would become as much a part of her public persona as her acting career. The pressures of age and beauty in Hollywood can be relentless, and Joan's journey is a reflection of the difficult choices many women in the entertainment industry are forced to make. The changes to Joan Van Ark's face didn't happen overnight. They quietly accumulated over the years, leaving behind heavy, irreversible consequences on the once radiant appearance that had made her a beloved star. Fans, who had admired her beauty and grace, were left feeling sorrow and regret as they watched the transformation unfold. In the rare and fleeting public appearances that followed, the audience was truly shocked by her irregular, blotchy skin and the completely altered facial structure. Despite her best efforts to conceal the changes with thick layers of makeup, no amount of foundation could hide the excessive interventions of multiple facelifts and constant injections. The once iconic features that had defined her image seemed lost, replaced by an artificial appearance that no longer reflected the natural beauty she had once exuded. At this point, her image resembled that of a woman desperately trying to hold on to the glorious shadow of her past. But the more she tried to fix it, the more she became unrecognizable to herself. Joan Van Ark had once been a symbol of grace and elegance, but with every attempt to turn back time, she seemed to lose a little more of the essence that made her iconic. The most heartbreaking and haunting aspect of her story is her absolute silence in the face of public scrutiny. She never spoke out to justify herself or offer an explanation, instead silently enduring all the prying eyes and cruel gossip with a resigned suffering that was almost tragic. Her silence became a painful reminder of the pressure and loneliness many in the spotlight endure, especially as they struggle to reconcile their past image with the harsh realities of aging in an unforgiving industry. She unknowingly became a tragic example of the profound loneliness felt by faded stars, those who struggle with the intense pressure to maintain their once glorious image, becoming trapped in the dazzling but suffocating trap of artificial beauty, unable to find a way out for their souls. In reality, her story is not just about failed surgeries. On a deeper level, it is the tragedy of an overwhelming fear of being forgotten by the world. In a cinematic capital like Hollywood, where youth is revered as a religion, aging naturally is often seen as a catastrophic failure for an artist. This fear of obsolescence, coupled with the relentless pursuit of perfection, led Joan to a path of self-destruction, one that robbed her not only of her appearance, but also of the sense of identity she had spent years crafting. Her story stands as a poignant reminder of the price many stars pay to stay relevant in an industry that values beauty over authenticity. Joan chose to fight against the relentless law of aging with surgery, but the heavy price she paid was the permanent loss of her true face, the mirror that reflects the most genuine emotions of a person. With each surgical intervention, she drifted further from the natural beauty that had once defined her. Sometimes, the silence of suffering is even more painful and tormenting than public criticism, and Joan's silence in the face of relentless scrutiny highlighted the inner turmoil she endured. Her story serves as a stern reminder of the cruelty of unrealistic beauty standards, showing the dangers of relying on artificial measures to preserve one's appearance. It also emphasizes the importance of building self-worth based on talent, character, and the depth of one's soul, rather than clinging to the fragile shell of outward appearance. Joan's journey is a painful lesson about the true cost of trying to outrun time and the value of accepting ourselves as we are. Lisa Rinna rose to fame early, with her unmistakable signature being her full, seductive lips, which became a defining feature of her image. However, few know that this iconic look was actually the result of a bold decision to get permanent silicone injections when she was just 24 years old. At the time, the decision seemed like an exciting opportunity to enhance her appearance, but over time it became a risky gamble. The filler didn't dissolve as expected. Instead, it gradually clumped together, becoming stiff and completely distorting her once beautiful mouth. What was once a symbol of her allure turned into a painful reminder of the unpredictable consequences of cosmetic enhancements, leaving her to grapple with the physical and emotional toll of a decision made long ago. What was once considered a symbol of allure gradually became a burden, causing her smile to appear forced and heavy, a living testament to how the impulsiveness of youth can leave lasting consequences that linger for decades. In stark contrast to the majority, who often choose to hide or deny their changes, Lisa chose a more challenging but courageous path, openly acknowledging her mistakes and undergoing surgery to reduce her lips in order to correct the consequences. Instead of hiding from her past decisions, Lisa embraced the difficult reality and took the steps necessary to regain control over her appearance, showing the world that true strength lies not in perfection, but in the courage to face and learn from one's choices. Her story serves as a reminder that beauty, no matter how carefully crafted, is ultimately about authenticity and self-acceptance. She did not hesitate to share the entire painful and aesthetically unpleasing process on reality television. turning her personal journey into a powerful cautionary tale for the public. It was her raw honesty that, instead of drawing mockery, unexpectedly garnered a wave of empathy from women who were also struggling with the pressure to conform to beauty standards. By openly confronting her mistakes and the consequences of her decisions, Lisa Rinna gave others the courage to embrace their own imperfections. Not only did she work on correcting the issue, but she also cleverly turned the very flaw that had once been the subject of ridicule into a lucrative personal brand. What was initially seen as a beauty blunder became her signature, redefining her narrative and solidifying her place in the entertainment world. Through resilience and self-awareness, Lisa turned a painful experience into an empowering statement of self-acceptance and reinvention. She was always the first to laugh at her oversized lips before anyone else could mock her, cleverly turning the public's scrutiny into a business opportunity for her own lipstick line. By embracing the humor in her situation, Lisa Rinna used her trademark feature to her advantage, demonstrating an incredible level of self-awareness. Her positive attitude, humor, and ability to laugh at herself became the strongest armor, allowing her to gracefully navigate harsh criticism and maintain her place in the entertainment industry, which is often rife with gossip and judgment. Lisa Rinna's journey of transformation shows us a remarkable growth in mindset and resilience. A modern woman who not only faced the consequences of her decisions, but turned them into a triumph. She proved that owning your imperfections with confidence and grace can be the key to turning adversity into opportunity. She teaches us that everyone has the right to make mistakes when they are young. But it is the courageous attitude with which we face them and the efforts we make to correct them that truly define who we are today. By reclaiming control over her image through raw honesty, Lisa proved that no past is insurmountable if we can accept and love even our scars. Publicly admitting mistakes is the smartest counterattack, stripping critics of the weapons they rely on to judge us. In doing so, Lisa not only empowered herself, but also inspired countless others to embrace their flaws, showing that owning our imperfections is the ultimate act of strength. Through vulnerability, she transformed what could have been a source of shame into a powerful statement of resilience and self-love. Lisa has proven an ironclad truth. Admitting mistakes is not weakness, but the smartest counterattack against public opinion. When you dare to accept the scars of the past, you strip others of the power to hurt you. What's your opinion on this approach? Press number 1 if you think it's a smart move. Press number 0 if you disagree. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on the next stories. Now, let's continue the video. Goldie Hawn etched an unforgettable image of the eternal golden girl in the minds of audiences, a symbol of pure joy with her radiant smile and sparkling eyes full of laughter. She became an icon for her natural, glowing presence, effortlessly exuding happiness in every role, as if joy was her second nature. The audience adored her madly, drawn to the light she brought to the screen. However, even a free spirit like her could not escape the haunting shadow of age and the ever-present pressure to maintain youthfulness. As time passed, the demands of Hollywood and the public's obsession with beauty took their toll, forcing Goldie to grapple with the reality of aging in an industry that celebrates youth above all else. In recent years, the pursuit of cosmetic procedures to cling to youth has caused Goldie Hawn's face to become tight, puffy, and lacking the natural flexibility it once had, leaving many who admired her original beauty with a sense of regret. This transformation has inadvertently created an ironic paradox, as Goldie Hawn has long been known for conveying powerful messages about inner beauty, meditation, and the tranquility of the soul. Her public persona was built on the idea that true beauty comes from within, a message that resonated deeply with her fans. Yet, as she sought to preserve her youthful appearance, the very physical changes she embraced seemed to clash with the very philosophy she once championed, adding a layer of complexity to her narrative. The tension between external appearance and internal peace has become a poignant aspect of her story. The fact that a woman with such a strong spiritual foundation and confidence as Goldie Hawn had to resort to surgery reveals the harsh truth about the immense pressures of the entertainment industry. It's like an invisible tidal wave, powerful enough to shake even the most steadfast life philosophies, forcing one to compromise on the artificial values they once disregarded. In an industry that relentlessly celebrates youth and beauty, even the most grounded individuals can be caught in its grasp. However, what is most admirable about Goldie is that her optimistic spirit has never been extinguished by changes in her appearance or the passing of time. Despite the external pressures, she continues to embody the joy and authenticity that originally won her the love of audiences worldwide. Her resilience in the face of these challenges remains a testament to her enduring inner strength. Although her smile may now seem somewhat forced due to the effects of Botox, Goldie Hawn's eyes and demeanor still radiate an extraordinary amount of positive energy, warmth, and zest for life. She wisely chose to focus all her attention on the joy found in her family and loved ones, rather than allowing her soul to be clouded by the gossip or scrutiny of others regarding her altered appearance. Goldie Hawn stands as the most powerful proof that the eternal allure of a true star lies not in wrinkle-free skin or artificially perfect features, but in the depth of their spirit and the light they bring to the world. Her genuine joy and vibrant personality continue to shine through, reminding us all that true beauty transcends the physical and resides in the heart and soul. Her vast artistic legacy was built firmly with laughter, innate acting talent, and sincerity, qualities that no surgery can erase or overshadow. In the hearts of millions of loyal fans, Goldie Hawn will always remain the radiant Golden Girl, a symbol of happiness and joy despite the harsh ravages of time. Even though she has weathered the pressures of aging in the public eye, her enduring spirit continues to captivate and inspire. Even the most optimistic and strong-willed individuals have their moments of vulnerability when faced with the fear of aging. Yet, it's the resilience to embrace both beauty and imperfection that truly defines a lasting legacy, and Goldie's has undoubtedly withstood the test of time, grounded in her authenticity, laughter, and unwavering zest for life. However, it is positive energy and a rich inner beauty that serve as the most effective and lasting anti-aging remedy, helping us to shine brightly no matter how our appearance changes. When we learn to love ourselves and hold firm to our belief in who we are, time seems incapable of taking away our inner vitality. Beauty from within, embodied in genuine emotions, self-confidence, and a radiant spirit, will always be what makes each person captivating. How we face adversity, embrace our flaws, and maintain our spirit is what truly reflects the real beauty of a person. It's not about how we look on the outside, but the strength, joy, and authenticity we carry inside that leaves a lasting impression on the world. Loving yourself and maintaining an optimistic spirit is the secret to staying youthful in a way no beauty product can achieve. When your soul shines, your appearance will naturally attract. Don't let time dull your inner vitality, because true beauty comes from how you cherish yourself. Agree with me? Drop number 1 or number 0 if you disagree in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe to spread this message to more people. Enjoy the video. In his youth, Mickey Rourke was the perfect embodiment of dangerous, romantic beauty. a heartthrob with an irresistible allure that made millions of hearts race through his classic films. However, his extreme disdain for the polished pretty boy image pushed him to leave behind the glow of Hollywood and step into the brutal world of boxing. There, the savage punches of his opponents not only broke his nose and shattered his cheekbones, but also completely destroyed the flawless appearance of his past. The physical toll of boxing forced him to undergo a long and painful journey of reconstructive surgeries in an attempt to regain his human face. What followed was a transformation that left him almost unrecognizable, a stark reminder of how the pursuit of self-definition and the choices we make can come with a heavy price. A tragedy piled upon tragedy as Mickey placed his trust in the wrong hands with incompetent surgeons, turning what was meant to be a healing process into an irreversible cosmetic disaster. The continuous surgical interventions combined with fillers caused his face to become swollen, distorted, and completely lose its once refined features. From being a symbol of allure and romantic beauty, Mickey Rourke became the subject of cruel gossip. His name splashed across newspapers with harsh nicknames like Monster. His illustrious career, once on the rise, seemed to be permanently buried under the weight of regret, fading into oblivion as the audience turned their gaze elsewhere. The man who had captivated hearts became a tragic example of how the search for self-improvement can sometimes lead to irreversible consequences. But Mickey Rourke performed the unimaginable, transforming his scars and shattered face into raw artistic material in the masterpiece, The Wrestler. He brought all the physical pain, loneliness, and despair of his own life onto the screen, channeling it into a haunting story of redemption. His deeply authentic performance moved both audiences and critics to tears, allowing them to forget the bizarre exterior and connect with the wounded yet proud soul burning brightly within. In The Wrestler, Mickey didn't just act. He laid bare the vulnerability and resilience of a man who had been through hell and emerged with a fierce will to survive. It was a moment of profound artistic brilliance, where his personal suffering became the foundation for one of the most powerful performances of his career. Mickey Rourke's life is like a roller coaster ride, filled with both the highest peaks of glory and the deepest bitterness of a cruel fate. He has taught us a profound lesson that no matter how damaged our appearance may be, true grit and talent still have the power to lift a person from the ashes of destruction. The scars etched across his face are no longer signs of cosmetic failure, but medals of honor for a warrior who has survived the fiercest battles life has thrown at him. His journey is a testament to resilience, proving that the essence of a person lies not in their physical appearance, but in their ability to endure, evolve, and continue creating despite the hardships they face. Mickey Rourke's legacy is one of strength, redemption, and the unbreakable spirit of an artist who never gave up. Glamorous beauty can vanish overnight, but extraordinary talent and resilience are indestructible. Never be quick to underestimate a person's worth based solely on a rough exterior, for sometimes the ugliest scars tell the most heroic stories of rebirth and courage. Each wound is a testament to unyielding strength, and every scar carries an invaluable lesson in perseverance. The journey through hardship and adversity often shapes a person in ways that outward appearances cannot capture. It is the ability to rise, learn, and transform that truly defines one's character, turning struggles into powerful stories of resilience and survival. We've just explored 8 lives, 8 tragedies, but also priceless lessons about the pressure of perfection. Those faces may have changed, but it is their talent and resilience to rise from the ruins that are most deserving of respect. Hollywood may be ruthless with aging, but we, true viewers, can choose understanding over judgment. Ultimately, it is self-acceptance and respect that hold the key to overcoming all prejudices and living authentically. The true measure of a person's worth is not found in the smoothness of their skin or the perfection of their appearance, but in the strength of their spirit and the courage they show in embracing who they are, no matter the challenges they face. Let us honor the journey, not just the outcome. Which story in today's video resonated with you the most? Do you think we are being too harsh when it comes to aging naturally? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. See you next time.